baby. Miracle, miracle serves. Miracle, miracle serves. Miracle, miracle serves. Miracle serves.
We keep having all these problems. How we gonna solve them? Every day it's the same thing. All these unsolved issues, I guess it's official. Here we go again, the same old thing. And I'm tired of the arguing and lying. So goodbye.
Hey. I'm back. Good morning, everyone. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspirational juice. It is December the 20th, 2024, and today the topic is No Expectations 2020. Good morning again, everyone. Good morning, man. It's good to be back, man. It's good to be here. Those that are watching, you know what I'm saying? You see your girl's holiday hair, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of cute, right? Like little butterflies and little bows. But yeah, man. I have to keep reminding myself it's Christmas. Am I the only one? Like, I know we got our little Christmas cheer around the house, stuff like that. But even when I was on vacation, you know, your girl I was on vacation. I went on a little cruise earlier this week. And everything about Florida and the Bahamas and whatnot was given like island, so every now and then there was like sprinkles of Christmas. Like, they had a Christmas tree in the lobby of the, cruise ship, or, that type of thing, or, the crew is wearing Santa hats or whatever. But, it still was definitely warmer in Florida than it is in Georgia. So that was one thing. And then also, it was good. It was a nice, relaxing trip. So shout out to my homegirl, Alicia, you know what I'm saying, for being a real one out here, And we had a nice little girls trip and a getaway. I was telling her as well, I'm like, man, I got to get more intentional about things like this. I don't know about anybody else, but I know that I can tend to just work. Work here, work there, work everywhere. And then feel like, man, I need to have fun, or man, I need a break, or whatever the case may be. So I don't know if this is a reminder for somebody else, but yeah, man, look, I think taking the Sabbath is important, like taking a day of rest every week. But then also, being more intentional about those other days of rest, right? Vacations or just fun or whatever the case may be. I'm like, shoot, do I want to do a vacation every quarter? Lord, can you make this happen for me? I saw somebody say that it was good. There's a couple that does like, they do a family trip and then a couples trip, which I'm like, shoot, can I get that? That sounds good too, so we're going to see what the Lord do from here on out. But I mean, I definitely see the importance, and I enjoyed, getting that rest. And hey, I think I came back refreshed, you know what I'm saying? I got a little word, and everything like that. I did think about you guys while I was out, and but I didn't record anything of significance. I just kind of was like, just soaking it in, I still did some Bible study, still, just took some time, just kind of reflect or whatever the case may be. But I didn't feel like to record anything while I was there. So sorry. I got photos for those that follow me on my Facebook and stuff like that. But that was about it. I didn't feel led to like do anything else of significance, I guess, to share. But I'm here now. I am here now, and I feel like I'm in the future, because I feel like this conversation is for 2025. So how did I get to this today? No Expectations 2025. Well, so at some point this morning, I think after I listened to the prayer meditation, I can't remember now, but at some point the word expectation stood out to me. And I was like, okay, maybe that's what the Lord wants me to talk about on the juice. So I'm thinking that, I did take a little nap in between, went back to sleep and everything. And by the time I got back up, maybe I listened to the prayer meditation then. I don't know. But basically at some point, as I was getting ready to start taking down the notes in my handy dandy journal, that's when the word no expectations came into my heart and mind. Now, I would say that maybe it was after I listened to the prayer meditation. Yeah, because it was talking about John. Like, it was talking about how Mary went to go see Elizabeth, and John was leaping in Elizabeth's womb, and the Holy Spirit came on Elizabeth to say, knowing what or who, right, Mary was carrying, things of that nature. And at some point I just couldn't help but be reminded of that moment when John the Baptist, it seemed as if he wasn't sure, right, if Jesus was the Christ, right? And so he sent his people to go and ask. Now that thought probably came from the enemy, you know what I'm saying, being like, well, was he really, and that type of thing, because it sounds like him, right? But at the same time too, I mean, look, all things work together for the good of those that love God and look who are created for his purpose. And so, I went deeper about that thought, but I didn't go deeper in regards to be like, oh, doubting or anything. I just was like, let me go deeper about this moment where John questioned, this moment where John wasn't sure. And then obviously we know what Jesus did. He continued to do the work he was doing and told his people to go back to John and tell them what he was doing. And then spoke highly of John and everything like that. And so basically, as I was reflecting on all of that this morning, I think that's where the word expectations came from, and it was standing out because the thing was that John had an expectation of Jesus Christ. Matter of fact, all of those people that was waiting, they had that type of, they had some type of expectation of what Christ was going to come do. And then when Christ came and did something a little different, questions, or people wasn't believing that he was the savior, things of that nature. And so, I started to, I guess, get more understanding about that. But again, I wasn't more on the expectation part because I think that's where a lot of us trip up. Okay, can we all be honest right now? We go into situations with expectations, and then when things don't pan out the way we think, then we doubt or we fear or we mad or whatever, And I guess I'm here to encourage and inspire us this morning to look, let's go into 2025 with no expectations. Now, I know that might sound weird, because again, you want to get great, good things, stuff like that. But we'll talk more about that later. But for those that want to go ahead, feel free to look in the Go Deeper section. I typed up this little list of what we can do and the type of expectations that we probably should have. But for those that are starting at square one and we might have a hard time with this, let's just look, I'm here to remind all of us this morning, even myself, right? So let's go into 2025 without our own expectations, without expectations about what we think it should be or what we want God to do and that type of thing. And let's switch our hearts and minds, right, to be more in alignment with what he wants to do and his will and way. Again, I couldn't help but think about, and some of these verses are going to get me to it, but I couldn't help but think about what got me on this journey, right, of switching my mindset and things of that nature. And that was, shout out to Pastor Sammy over there at God's House Orlando. He said this and it was life-changing for me. And I hope as I repeat it and as I say, the revelations that God gives me for y'all, that y'all will be encouraged and inspired to turn your heart and mind around. But he said back in those days, back during the cultivation period, when your girl was single and going through, right, and trying to figure it all out, right? Basically, he said, when you make God's wants your wants, you're going to get what you want. And from that moment on is when I started to ask God what he wanted. Because, at that time, what I was observing in my life was that, I had a lot of what I wanted. There was just only a couple of things that I didn't have at that particular time, which we know was love, marriage, relationship, the sex life, all that, For those that know my journey, but if not, you can get the book, you can listen to any other recording, because I talk about it often. But anywho, so at that point, I'm like, well, Lord, man, there must be something I'm missing then. Like, so what is it that you want, right? And then he started, I guess, to show me things that I needed to work on within myself. He started to show me, I guess, things in regards to my career. And he didn't let me know that I was going to be working at church and doing all the stuff that I'm doing now. But I think there were things that was kind of hinting towards it at that particular time, because I had started to actually serve in the kids ministry at God's House Orlando. So I had just started to do that and, kind of was getting involved before God pushed me out of Florida back to Georgia. But anywho, so obviously, again, yes, at that particular time, I was thinking about acting, right? I was thinking about, just building my career as an actor and things like that. But obviously, God had other plans. And so, again, I had to start to learn to be okay with God's plan for me in my life. Like, sure, I still act and I still perform and I still do those things, but it's in a different capacity. It's for God's glory, things like that. It's performing for the kids. It's becoming characters to bring the Bible to life for them, things like that. And so I'm at the point now where I'm okay with that. I'm totally fine with whatever the Lord wants to do with me, for me, and through me. But it did take a time. It took a little time to get there. It took like patience. It took, me constantly laying down my ideas and laying these things before God's feet and saying, okay, Lord, what do you want to do with this? And what do you want to do with that? And what do you want me to do? And things like that. And so here I am today, right? Online, sharing almost every day. Not, probably not like I used to, because I think God's doing something new. But we said 24 was new thing. So I guess this was the new thing. Maybe GSL, the juice is going weekly. I don't know. But that's what's been happening over the past month or so. So we're going to see what the Lord do with 2025. But regardless, all of this was kind of news to me, right? All of this was like different from, I guess, the quote unquote expectation that I had on my life or for my life, right? But I'm grateful, man. I am content. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for everything that God is doing with me, for me, and through me. So I hope that this can be encouraging and inspiring to you as we get ready to embark on a new year in a couple of weeks. And yeah, let me give you guys this juice that I was receiving this morning. All right, so let me share it with you all, the definition of expectation. And it says a belief that something will happen in the future or is likely to happen. So that doesn't sound like a bad thing, right? And that's what I went deeper about as well, to understand, like, okay, well, Lord, do you want us to not have any expectations at all? Or do you, what are you saying here, right? So that's when I received, for instance, it's not a bad thing to have some expectations, right? But I think, again, where we falter or where we fall is when we have expectations that God will do things the way we want it to be done, rather than getting an understanding of what he wants to do his way. And I feel like a lot of the verses today are going to kind of reiterate that, and I guess hopefully give us a perspective or a revelation in regards to these things. But they're not new. I ain't gonna lie to you. Some of these verses I done shared numerous times here on GSL. You know what I'm saying? So, but hey, maybe approach it as this fresh, brand new information today. Okay, here we go. So here's the first verse I felt led to write down this morning, and it was Proverbs 19:21. It says, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Friends, if we could only get that, get an understanding of that in our heart and mind, then perhaps we could be a little bit more peaceful, right? We could be a little bit more content with whatever the Lord wants to do, because we'll lay down our own idea, and then you won't be so frustrated, because you won't be like, oh, well, I thought this and I thought that. No, you'll be like, okay, well, Lord, maybe I thought, that it was going to be this or that, but Lord, help me to be okay with your will, your way, your plan. Because that's what's going to happen at the end of the day, regardless of what we do. And so I know people struggle with this idea of predestination, right? They struggle with, well, God already knows. So they feel like, oh, that's a pass to just, I guess, do whatever. But I guess the thing is, we still have free will. So you still have a choice in the matter. Yes, God knows what you're going to do, but, understanding that, you can choose to get in alignment with him in his way, or you can choose to go the opposite way. He's leaving that part up to you, and you may not know what's going to pan out from what you decide, but he knows, and it's all going to go according to his plan anyway. So it's just something to think about. I know people will say, I don't think this is biblical, but people say, if you don't use it, you lose it. Have you ever heard that? And then have you ever noticed that there's things like you might have an idea, right? And then you procrastinate, or you don't take, the time to do it. And then next thing you know, you see somebody else doing it. Now, I'm not saying that every time that's the case, like, oh, you didn't use it, so you lost it. But what I'm saying is that, if God wants something to happen and to be done, it's going to get done, regardless of whether you do it or whether, somebody else do it. I shared something with you guys some months, years ago, of something similar that happened like that to me, where like basically I know a couple of times this happened, but the one that's in my mind right now is that, like, I think it was like a social media post or something, that somebody was needing some type of encouragement or something, and I was debating about doing it, and then I think I was being slow to do it and I didn't. And then I went back later on and then somebody else said what was on my heart and mind to say to the person. And again, it's just one of those things to remind us that, hey, man, again, it's what God needs to be done is going to get done regardless of you. Now, you want to be with him, I believe, but hey, you got that choice at the end of the day. So choose wisely, right? Let me give you guys another verse. Isaiah 55, 8 and 9. It says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. It's the hearers. No, excuse me. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So yeah, man, I know I jumped it up in the beginning, a little bit and whatnot, but we've all heard that verse one time or another, right? That our ways is not God's ways. A lot of things that we think should happen a certain way, or the way we want, or whatever the case may be, it doesn't happen because it's not what God wants, right? Again, the more you learn to be okay with that, at least I find in my life, the more I learn to be okay with that, the more peace I have, the more content I am, the more I'm like, hey, Lord, even like, for example, okay, let's talk about this trip thing, right? Since I just got back from vacation. Now last year, I was thinking like, man, I think it was last year I had blessed myself with, because I know one of my friends, she complimented me on my glasses, the different sunglasses I was wearing on the trip. And I was like, yeah, man, I bought them things last year with the intention of wearing them on vacations. At that time, I was like, I don't know when, or how I'm gonna be able to go on some vacations. But I believe and I hope and I pray that, next year we're going to, I'm gonna be able to wear these sunglasses at these, on my vacations. And to God be the glory, like throughout the year, there has been little things here and there that I've been able to wear the sunglasses. Now, yeah, okay, that might not be like the best example. Well, what I'm saying is that sometimes you got to just walk by faith, right? Sometimes you got to just, do what you can to make the moves, and then God will do the rest. So, shout out to my sister that kind of took us on a little vacation earlier this year because she took my niece to Wolf Creek Lodge. And so we just had like a little family time getaway there. Later on in the year, my family took a little vacation during the summer right before NJ started school. We took a vacation. My husband had an appointment over in North Augusta. And so we just tagged along with him, and it was a vacation, and we just, went there and came back, but we just explored that area and when he got something to eat and ate good and came on back home. But that still was a nice little time for us and our family. That was like the only little summer vacation vibes that we had, because I kept trying to plan something, but it didn't pan out the way I had hoped. A little bit after that, I would say in the fall season, the church sent me and a couple of other ladies on to a retreat. And it was overnight. It wasn't like a super long thing, but I went there and participated, obviously learning the different skills that they wanted to teach at the conference that they were doing. But it still was a nice night away. It still was a time to just be away and have a change of scenery. And then last but not least, y'all know that, just like I said earlier this week, my friend Alicia blessed me with this trip as a birthday gift, for her birthday, because she was like, I'm going for my birthday, so if you want to, come on with me, da 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 da. And to God be the glory for that. And so the vacations happen, is what I'm saying. And they didn't happen the way I thought, right? It wasn't me, curating all these vacations, but at the same time, the Lord provided. I stepped out on faith and bought them sunglasses, and then the Lord, I'm not saying that he did it just because of the sunglasses, but what I'm saying is that, I had enough faith to believe it and say that, what, hey, I believe that I'm going to go on some vacations. I'm going to make this investment in myself, and I want to make a plan. Like, I started to do the vacation fund and all that different type of stuff in the anticipation of the vacation. So I say all that to say, friends, it's just an example, but we can do this in different aspects of our life. And I think the more that you do it, the more that you can be at peace with letting things happen the way God wants it to happen, versus like feeling like you got to do it a certain way. Or if it's not the way that you thought, then, you're mad or you're upset or you're sad or whatever the case may be. So let me give you guys some more Bible. All right. Maybe that's too much testimonies for y'all. Here's another verse that I felt led to write down. Psalm 37:4. It says, take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. So again, first things first, man, at the end of the day, again, what's that verse that tells us, I'm gonna jumble it up, but it's kind of along the lines of like basically putting first the kingdom of heaven, and then all the rest of the things will follow. Like I feel like that's saying the same thing here. Again, if we're delighting ourselves in the Lord and we're putting Him first, Him and His kingdom, then we're gonna get the desires of our heart. He's going to bless us with the things that we want. Again, if you make your wants God's wants, then you're gonna get what you want. Because again, His plan is going to prevail. All these verses are just kind of coming in together, friends, but I hope that you guys are receiving this morning and just understanding that, hey man, this might be something that I need to do for 2025. Just go into it with no expectations, going into it with God's expectations on your heart and mind versus anything else. There was only one more verse I think that I felt led to write down about this, and it was 2 Corinthians 5:7. It says, for we live by faith, not by sight. Again, I think that's another thing that we tend to maybe not do so well, right? We are looking for a sign, right? We are looking for confirmation and different things of that nature when we should just be living by faith, walking by faith. And God may give us a revelation or two, you know what I mean? Like you might get that sneak peek into the future that you want or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, not going into it thinking like, okay, I have to do it a certain way, or it has to be X, Y, and Z, or, it has to be, in your box of ideas. I think I done said everything I needed to say about this, friends. I don't know what else to say to break it down. All I'm going to say is I challenge you. If you listen to the sound of my voice today and you got this far in this conversation, then I'm challenging you, whoever you are, to let's go into 2025 with no expectations. Don't put any expectations on. Seek Him for His will and His way. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to leave you guys with. I mean, you guys can go deeper in the go deeper section because there's plenty of verses that you guys can peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. But the verse that I feel led to, or excuse me, not a verse, but the things I want you guys to think about, the type of expectations that we should have. I made a little to-do list in the go deeper section for you guys to look at, but I'm going to read it. And this is our to-do list for 2025. All right. So the first thing is to set our expectations on God and His promises. Don't go into it with thinking like, I want to get married next year. I have to get pregnant next year. I have to, 2025 has to be when I start making six figures. Like, just, let's put all that to the side. Go into it with no expectations in that regard. But set your expectations on God and His promises, okay? The next thing I would like to challenge y'all to do, or myself as well, is to trust His will above our own desires. Again, I know that we might want to, all the things, we want it to happen the way we want it to happen, all that different type of stuff. But again, let's put that to the side. No expectations, 2025, right? And let's trust His will above our own desires. What I find is, friends, that at the end of the day, the more I do this and the more I just let God do His thing, it goes way beyond what I even thought. I feel like GSL is an example of that. I feel like, what I'm doing at the church is an example of that. I feel like, when I started publishing the books, all these different things has gone beyond my own little idea of what, I was going to do with my life and things like that. And so, again, it's better to just go with His will and His way, because you're going to get more and better things than when you try to put God in the box and say, well, it has to be this right here, right now. Speaking of that, number 3 is to avoid placing rigid demands on outcomes. Don't put your rigid idea and demand on God. At the end of the day, He's not a genie, right? He's not here to fulfill your wishes. You know what I'm saying? He is here, and we are here for Him ultimately, for His good pleasure and things like that. And so, again, let's humble ourselves to just lay it all before the Lord and say, Lord, whatever you want to do. Again, I find I'm at more peace and more content the more I do it. And so I hope that you're encouraged and inspired to do it as well. One more thing, y'all. It's on the to-do list. Look, I'm helping y'all. I'm starting your to-do list for 2025, okay? The last one is to approach life with faith, humility, and surrender. Again, lay all these things before the Lord. Now listen. there's nothing wrong with telling the Lord what you desire. You know what I mean? Letting him know your expectations, letting him know like what you think and stuff like that. But when you do that, right, then just let it go. Give it to him and say, Lord, your will be done. And then I feel like you'll be more at peace and content. Like that's what's been happening with me. You know, yes, I started off my year was kind of rough. I had, I still had a lot of expectations on my marriage. I had a list of expectations on my husband, maybe even our child, whatever. I had all these expectations coming into the new year, but now I'm more at peace with all these things, and there may not have been that many changes happen about my situation, but I'm completely, my mind has completely changed. I'm more grateful and thankful for my husband, our marriage, my family, all the things. And all I can say is, friends, yes, yeah, your girl went to therapy, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's playing a part as well, but I'm also laying things before the Lord. I'm going to him. I told y'all in the beginning of the year, I was really, trying my best to focus on going to God first rather than going to my friend or mentor, whatever the case may be. Go to God first with my complaints, first with my issues. And then from there, yes, seek wise counsel, obviously therapy, mentorship, friends, things like that. But for the most part, again, as I lay things before the Lord, humble myself before him, let him know, hey, Lord, you know my desires. You know what I want my marriage to look like. You know what I want my son to be like. You know what I want. You know what I want. And just laying those things before him and saying, hey, but your will be done. Help me to understand, help me to, do these things your way, or whatever the case may be. The things I need to work on for myself, Lord, help me to be better. And then here I am today at peace. Like I said, things may not have changed the way I quote unquote think or thought that it should. But I believe that everything is happening the way it should be. And I'm grateful. And that's the juice, y'all. That is the juice this morning. I hope you guys are encouraged and inspired. Let me give you all the Bible verse of today. And that is Luke 1:46 and 47. It says, and Mary said, my soul doth magnify the Lord, and my spirit hath rejoiceth in God, my Savior. Friends, I hope you guys enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all whenever the Lord brings me back, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. And there you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice. Hope that you guys are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. Looks like Amazing Lovecraft is tuning in this morning. So good morning to you, Amazing Lovecraft. Are things better in the dating pool? I remember you. How's it going? But anywho, talking about increased taxes and property taxes and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy out here. Yep. He says, have a good day. Yes, you have a good day as well, sir. And thank you for tuning in. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Like I said, I keep having to remind myself that it's Christmas time. But I'm going to a staff Christmas party tonight that the church is doing. So that's one thing. And then tomorrow I'm hosting a little Christmas shindig myself. Here at the house, we got to get this house together, y'all. This house ain't ready for no party. Oh my gosh. But anywho, y'all pray for me that I get some work done today. I'm still on vacation right now. But no, yeah, your girl got to get some stuff tidied up. Tidy up. Amazing Lovecast says, I'm chilling the dating scene. Okay. I've been praying for you, bro. Okay. I hope you was taking that advice I gave you last time. Are you healed? Are you healed, sir? But yeah, no. And then yeah, man, we know that Christmas is next week, y'all. More Christmas activities and things to come. I guess I'll be back at work on Sunday, so we're gonna see how things went without me. If the church isn't burnt down because I wasn't there. Nah, just kidding, man. I'm sure, everything went fine. But anywho, he said, my parents didn't raise no fool. All right, well, good. But yeah, y'all. But yeah, thank you all so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. Thanks for anybody that supports in any way. And yeah, I don't have any expectations per se. I haven't made my to-do list yet for 2025. I guess again, maybe I should go into it with no expectations, right? No expectations 2025. And just see what the Lord do, man. Yeah, let's just see what the Lord do, y'all. So I hope you guys are encouraged and inspired by this juice. And yeah. I guess I'll wait a few more minutes just in case y'all want to chat with me while I'm here. Y'all got any questions, comments, or concerns about anything? But yeah, I've been trying to give you guys a sneak peek of different things that are to come. I shared yesterday that your girl wants to start making movies. I already made one. I made one movie from myself, like I wrote it and stuff like that. But I want to make more faith-based things. Maybe GSL related things, but I know there's ways to make GSL content without like getting too tawdry or something like that. So well, y'all can let me know what y'all think. I know someone was asking me, actually my homegirl that I went on a vacation with, she was asking me, was I thinking about creating dating content for GSL? And I have. Y'all know that I've tried to put that out there before. But hey, yeah, if y'all are interested in, a dating show by the GSL channel, email us, man, if you want to be on the dating show. The dating concept that we came up with is called Virtue Date, and basically it's going to be like a well, I don't know, should I tell y'all too many details about it? But if you think you might want to be on Virtue Date, just email us. Yeah, just email us about, and if you want to be on the show, things of that nature. And yeah, we'll get that get the oh, Mr. Lovecraft says asking questions. Hold on, let me come back to y'all. But yeah, if you're interested in Virtue Day, just email us at that email, and we can get it going, getting the dating show going here on GSL. So Mr. Amazing Lovecraft says, I'm going into the new year 2025 with financial blessings. That's why I envision and shall be. Hey, listen, if God is giving you a revelation about financial blessings, ain't nothing wrong with that, and that could be the expectation, or whatnot. But then I feel like I think we get a little too much when we be like, it got to be this amount of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe God want to give you more dollars. Like stop putting a limit on him. Just go with look, no expectation on the dollar amount, just financial blessings. But sorry, I'm getting all kind of notifications right now. And then Amazing Lovecraft asks, what's the plot of the written movie? So there's the movie that has already been made, the cast. That one is kind of about, long story short, it's about like different things I've observed as an actress in the independent theater scene. And it's kind of like The Office meets theater. So if you're familiar with that show called The Office, it's like that type of vibe. But it's like a stage play production that's like behind the scenes of it. And the crazy thing about this particular movie is that me and my friend Kelvin, which y'all have met him, he's been on the platform a few times, but him and I are playing every character in the movie. So we were getting our Eddie Murphy on. So I played all the women in the movie and he played all the men in the movie. And that's the funny, quirky thing about it. Like, that's not how I intended it when I first wrote it. I had a whole cast in mind, and stuff like that. But unfortunately, sometimes as an independent creator, like things happen where people don't come together and stuff. And so he had the crazy, wacky idea about us playing all the characters. And then I went along with it. And so back in 2017 is when we recorded all that. And we finally released it in was it last year? Might have been 2024. So it was like 11-year gap in between like when we recorded it and when we actually got it out. And it wasn't supposed to be a movie. It was just supposed to be like a series, like a web series. But we just ended up putting all the footage together as a movie. And so technically it's our first movie. But hopefully from there, more movies to come. I do have another script that oh, you would have been a part of the film? Well, I do have another. Where are you, if you don't mind? Are you in Georgia? Because maybe you could be. There is another movie concept that I want to work on that is more relationship driven. I don't want to get too deep about it, but it's kind of along the same lines of my my book, The Cultivation Period, A Single Christian's Journey. Yeah, it's kind of along those lines. But I'm gonna hold on to like the title and stuff right now until I'm ready to put it out there. But if you want to be a part of the film, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we need men folk for the film. But without getting too deep in it, there's a married woman and there's a single woman in it. in that one. And yeah, I want to tell that story. That's the next complete script that I have written that I need to record. And then I have some incomplete works as well. But I'm like, let me get these complete things done. You know what I'm saying? So that's holding up progress, because your girl hasn't really been writing like that. Because I'm like, I need to finish the ones I already got started, or that type of thing, writing anything new. Same with my music. I haven't really been writing any new music, because I got like a worship album that's been in my head for years, and I need to get out of my head and record it. So maybe 2025, I keep putting it on my to-do list, and it just keeps getting put on the back burner in regards to like the things that I do financially or whatever. Y'all be praying for your girl. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see what the Lord do and how he want to do this thing. But know that I do, yes, have movie ideas, music ideas, and yeah, maybe book ideas, maybe like more children book ideas than adult books. But who knows? Because y'all, I probably need to get this marriage content out as well. You know. Thank you to those that did vote in our poll. It seems like y'all want, according to my last time looking, if you want to know where the poll is, it's in our community on our YouTube channel. You can still vote in it, I think, if you want to. I think we have maybe like 30 something votes. Well, let me go see. But we're grateful for anybody that's giving us feedback, because I want to create content that y'all need as well. I know I've been talking to this business coach, and he's getting me on this journey to start focusing on single people's content, which, don't get me wrong, I want to do, because y'all know I got a heart for single people. I wrote the book and everything, but my thing is like, I'm going through a lot as a married woman, and that stuff needs to get addressed too. Okay, so I mean, I'm gonna start being intentional, but we're gonna see how this thing play out. But anyway, but yeah, I did put it out there on the channel in our community. Now I'll show you guys. So this is what the community looks like. I know there's reflections and stuff, but see, in this section, you guys can just scroll up there and go to community. So down here is a poll somewhere. And so in that poll, I was asking you guys, what type of content would benefit you all. And as of right now, we've had 46 votes. And 59% of y'all say Christian personal growth content. So I'm going to keep that in my heart and mind as I create. Now I feel like the juice is kind of like Christian personal growth content, because I mean, you're taking time every day to study the Bible and be on your journey. So if you're not studying the Bible every day, get the journal so you can hold yourself accountable to do that, at least for 30 days and see what happens. But I guess maybe we need to make more video content about personal growth. So I'm going to be thinking and praying about that and seeing what the Lord wants me to do and how he wants me to do it. But yeah, I hear y'all. I see your feedback. Like I said, 59% of y'all said Christian personal growth. Only the next highest one is Christian marriage content. So that's one thing. And then it's single life content. And then the last thing is dating content. So maybe y'all don't want us to have a dating show. Maybe y'all are fine with Pop the Balloon, right? Maybe GSL don't need to make a dating show. So I'm going to keep these things in my heart and mind. If y'all want to keep voting, please do. And I'll see where we're at the end of the year and make moves accordingly. But I know I want to make more movies. I want to make my music, and I want to get this, I guess, some personal growth content. There's been a few concepts that's been on my heart and mind. Again, I don't know how much I should share, or should I just put it out and then it's shared. But yeah, so that's what's going on, man. That's some behind the scenes stuff. Y'all can always hit me up or make a comment or whatever. We'll get to you guys with any, like I said, questions, comments, or concerns about anything. But I hope you guys are encouraged and inspired by the juice that you all received this morning. And be praying, because if the Lord wants, if y'all need the juice every day, again, like I used to do Monday through Saturday. I try to have it out by 6 a.m. So if I need to go back to doing that, y'all be praying, be like, Lord, tell her to do it. But if not, then maybe I'll be doing it once a week. I don't know. I don't even know what the Lord's doing right now. But basically, y'all just have a good holiday season if I don't come back and talk to y'all before then. And, have a happy new year. And I hope that you guys have a nice little plan now that y'all have received the juice that y'all received today. So, yep. All right. Well, it seems like all hearts and minds are clear. Oh, I spoke too soon. Said we appreciate your voice. Oh, to God be the glory, man. I'm glad to be a part, you know. And like I said, I hope that you guys are just encouraged, inspired by all the things, my testimonies, the work I'm doing, all that type of stuff. But yeah, y'all have a wonderful weekend. Oh. See, hold on, look. So he says, I want to see more of your pretty smile and beautiful face. Oh, you're really nice. Okay. I'm gonna take the compliment and say thank you. No, but I mean, look, plenty of content already, man. Look, there's thousands of videos of juice, so y'all can go back from the beginning. Plenty of GSL talk show too. But I mean, if you're saying that you need daily juice, I'm gonna keep praying about it and we're gonna see what the Lord do. If he send me back every day, cool. If not, you know, I'll be here when he brings me back. But yeah, man, thank you all for that. Thank you for tuning in and commenting. And like I said, I hope you guys are encouraged and inspired by all the things. And yeah, I'll talk to y'all whenever the Lord brings me back, if the Lord's will. Bye.